Welcome to Law Days and Lattes, the podcast where we blend the world of law and business with a warm cup of information and common sense. I'm your host, Sidney Wheelan, attorney, real estate investor, and business owner. Each week, we'll be your go-to source for legal insights, business advice, and so much more. Whether you're a seasoned professional, an ambitious entrepreneur, or simply someone seeking guidance, we'll have you covered. From navigating the legal landscape to empowering you with valuable business strategies, we'll explore the legal side of life and enjoy a virtual latte along the way. So, grab your favorite latte, get comfortable, and let's dive in to Law Days and Lattes. Welcome back to Law Days and Lattes. I'm your host, Sidney Wheelan, founder of the Wheelan Law Firm, now serving North Missouri families in two convenient locations in both Moberly and Carrollton. This is the podcast where we talk about life, law, family, and the things that truly matter. Today's episode is a little different. It's not about statutes or courtrooms or even the documents I talk about so often. Today is about legacy, the kind you don't sign, notarize, or record at the courthouse, the kind you build quietly in the spaces where family gathers. And for me, that story starts on the ranch, the night before opening morning. There's something special about the evening before deer season. The sun is down, the cold settles deeper, and the whole world feels both quiet and expectant. At the ranch, the fire pit glows. Chairs are arranged in the same circle as every year, almost like assigned seats. This year around the fire, two of our sons, one of the granddaughters bundled up like a marshmallow, our nephew, now grown but still carrying the spark of the boy who used to tag along, my son's army buddy, who long ago became part of the family, and a close friend who started out as a coworker and now another part of the family. There's takeout pizza because someone always forgets to thaw the chili meat. There's laughter, there's teasing, there's that unmistakable feeling of we belong here. And in that circle of firelight, it hits me again. This is legacy. Right here, before a single deer stand is climbed, before morning breaks, before the hunt even begins. This is not about deer. People who don't hunt think it's about the harvest, the rack on the wall, or the picture posted online. But the truth, around our fire, it's not about killing deer at all. It's about making space for family to reconnect, space for stories to be told again and again, space for the next generation to feel the roots of something larger than themselves. Legacy grows in that space, quietly, naturally. It's my granddaughter watching the men she loves rib each other, but always shows up for one another. It's our nephew realizing that family isn't just blood. It's whoever sits around the fire year after year. It's our sons stepping into the roles their uncles and grandfathers once filled, without anyone announcing the change. And what we pass down without realizing. Around that fire, no one talked about powers of attorney or trusts, but we're talking about legacy, just in a different dialect. Every joke is a memory. Every shared meal is a ritual. Every story is a piece of our history being transferred to new hands. The things our children will treasure most aren't always the things we meant to teach. Kindness, showing up, loyalty, steadiness, the art of being part of something bigger than yourself. Those things don't go into a will, but they live just as long. As an estate planning lawyer, I help people legally protect what they've spent their lives building. But the truth is, paperwork is only one part of the story. Your real legacy is how your family remembers you and the spaces you created for them to love each other. So, as we head into the holidays, I invite you to think about your own fire circle. Where do you gather? Who shows up? What stories do you tell? What will your children and grandchildren carry forward? Because that is your legacy. So, this season, think about how you are creating space for important conversations. The relationships that form around the fire, the trust, the comfort, the shared history, these are exactly what make the important conversations possible. Not the formal ones, not the conversations under bright office lights, but the deeper questions. Someday, this will all be yours. Are you ready for that responsibility? Or we need to talk about how to protect the farm, the traditions, and the memories. This land holds our family history. Let's make sure it stays in the family for the next generation, too. Families don't avoid these conversations because they don't care. They avoid them because they're emotional, because land is identity, because it feels heavy. But when you're sitting around a fire, boots stretched toward the warmth, bellies full of pizza, hearts full of connection, the walls drop. Real communication can happen. Legacy planning begins long before any paperwork is signed. It's our job to protect the stories and the land. Here's what I know from years in this work. Families don't lose their farms because of a lack of love. They lose them because of a lack of a plan. When we talk about protecting assets, we're not talking about money in the cold clinical sense. We're talking about the fire where your family gathers, the traditions that define you, the land that holds your memories, the place where your children learned who they are. If we want those things to outlive us, we have to be intentional. Update your estate plan. Protect the land legally. Communicate the plan clearly. And make sure the next generation understands not just what they're inheriting, but why. Because legacy isn't just passing something down, it's passing it down responsibly. Whether your fire is on a ranch, in a backyard, or in a living room, I hope you make space this season for the stories that matter and for the conversations that protect them. Thank you for joining me for this episode of Law Days and Lattes. May your traditions be meaningful, your stories be treasured, and your legacy be protected so that the next generation can gather around their own fire someday, telling your stories. Until next time, my friends, keep on listening to Law Days and Lattes. Have a great week.
This podcast episode contains general information for discussion purposes only. Each case is different and must be judged on its own merits. Missouri rules generally prohibit lawyers from advertising that they specialize in particular areas of the law. This show should not be construed to suggest such specialization. Nothing on this show should be taken as legal advice for any individual case or situation. This information is not intended to create an attorney-client relationship, and the listening or viewing of this podcast does not constitute an attorney-client relationship. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.